Let's go with no slides. So first of all, I'm NATI Sang. I'm the founder and CEO of Makerspace. As you can tell, I'm not originally from Thailand. I was born and raised in the US, but my parents are Thai. And I moved back here about 15 years ago. And although I hold dual citizenship, I love Thailand. I love Thailand so much, and because, well, first of all, it's like, it was here that I learned how to be very spiritual. That's me. And at one point in time, I became a monk over at Wat Arun. So I ordained as a monk for several months, and then all I did every day was just meditate. That's all I did. And some people think, oh well, meditation, it must be really easy. This is all you have to do every day. Just clear your mind and don't think about anything. I go, no. That's one part of meditation, true. But there's also another aspect to meditation. It's also this, is trying to ask big questions and try to understand your place in this universe. That is also a part of it. And so I asked myself a lot of questions, and one of the questions that came up a lot was something like this. I asked a lot of people, it's like, well, what is Thailand's place in the world today? And they say, oh, well, easy. Thailand is a developing nation on the verge of being developed. Okay, very good. And when I was a kid, back in school a long time ago, they said, well, Thailand was a developing nation on the verge of being developed. And when I asked my parents that same question, they say, well, Thailand was on the verge of being developed. So in other words, we've been on the verge of being developed for 60 plus years. That means we will never be developed. Not on the verge. Hello? Yeah, we will never be able. So why is that? And there's a lot of different answers to that, but let me pick one. Yeah, one thing is I watch a lot of TED Talks. So this is Ken Robinson. He's probably the most watched TED Talk in the world about creativity. He says, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original. Okay, true. And when we look at something like Asia, what we see here is like, it's this place, and if you look at it, it's sort of like what I call the Confucian zone. And what I mean by that is Confucianism spread from China and went all the way over Asia. And in Confucianism, you learn a couple of key qualities, which is respect your elders. They're right. You respect your father and mother. They're right. And also respect your teachers, because what your teacher says is right. And the thing is that, oh, well, okay, if I say what teacher says, I get an A. If I don't say what teacher says, I get an F. So as you can imagine, there's a reason why in the Confucian zone, we sort of like, oh, well, we learn how to just copy what teacher says. So, it's not very surprising then, I guess I have to stand over here. It's not very surprising then that you see a whole entire region of the world just copying things, and they just see what's going on in the world, and they go, oh, I'll do that too. So I worked in venture capital for a couple years, and one thing I saw all the time was, and especially here in Bangkok, is people keep on doing startups in mobile apps. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, why are we doing mobile apps? I haven't seen any great startups in mobile apps. In fact, I don't think we're naturally great at mobile apps when I look at Thailand as a whole. What I do see that we are great at is something more like this. We are naturally great at physical innovation. What do I mean? Well, how do I see that? Well, something like this. This is the Thai long-tail boat. This is made by a guy in the north of Thailand. He took an engine, he dropped it into a boat. Yeah, it has a long propeller at the end. And there you go, long-tail boat. Why did he do that? Because if you use an outboard motor like what the West uses, well, in Thailand, our rivers have a lot of weeds. So, okay, you're going to putt along and then you get stuck. Well, with the long-tail boat, all you have to do is lift up the propeller and you just glide on over. Innovation. Something like this. This is the Thai tractor. Yeah? To me, this is marvelous. It is a modular engine system that you can put in many different types of vehicles. You can plow the fields, yes, and then the Thais, they're really creative, so they do things like this. They take it and they compete with each other, and then they do things like this, and when they want to take the grain to market, they take the engine out and put it into a different vehicle, and boom, you take it to the market. Look. And they created this. This is just some guys, some farmers. They just go, oh, well, this is a good idea. How about I try that? So physical innovation. In Bangkok, if you go around, I don't know, no, the grilled chicken is not innovation. But if you look around, it's like, well, about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, grilled chicken was all like this. And then somewhere along the way, some guy, he figured out if I took a fan and hook it up to a car battery, then I blow all the smoke away and more people like my grilled chicken. So if you look around Bangkok now, everyone is doing it. It just spread naturally. And it's just like, it's not coming from a university, it's not coming from academics, it's not coming from the government. It's just some guys just bashing things together and boom, physical innovation. And everyone knows this one, right? So, okay, cool. Oops. There we go. So I ask people, and they keep coming with mobile apps. I'm like, well, why are you guys doing mobile apps? Why are you guys doing more physical stuff? That's what the country is naturally great at. And they say, well, you know, it's kind of expensive. We don't know how to really do it. I go, okay, no problem. So then I created something like this to help them out. It's Makerspace. It's all the space and the tools that you need to build whatever you can imagine. So we have things like 3D printers and laser cutters, make it really affordable. For 3D printing, we charge 30 baht or $1 an hour. Usually in Bangkok, it's like $10 an hour. Our laser cutter is like 50 baht an hour versus normally you go to a shop, it's 20 baht a minute. So we try to make it really, really affordable for people to be really creative, to experiment, and to be innovative. We also have a full workshop with all the cool tools, so CNC machinery, table saw, bandsaw, compound miter saw, etc., etc. Yeah? So you can bash things, real things together. Of course, we're attached to our co-working space up in Chiang Mai. It's called Pun Space. We're the #1 destination for digital nomads all over the world. They love Chiang Mai, so they all come over. So we're there. And of course, we have our caffeine as well. And then also, every Sunday, there's the Sunday night walking market. 20,000 people walk on it every week. And oh, by the way, there we are. So when we want to test our ideas, we come up with new ideas. It's very easy for us to just walk out and, hey, what do you guys think? Easy market testing. So cool. So that's our infrastructure, right? Yeah, but it's more important than that. It's not just about the tools. It's about what do you do with it. So let me share you some stories in the time that I got remaining. So again, if you're not prepared to be wrong, you'll never come up with anything original, right? Ken Robinson also said this. Creativity is a product of imagination plus action. Yeah? When you're creative, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm really creative. I go, what makes you say that? And they say, oh, well, I have a lot of ideas. Well, okay. I don't consider people who have a lot of ideas to be creative. I consider them to have a very highly active imagination. In order to be creative, you must make it real. It means to create. You must be able to touch it. You must be able to feel it. So action must take place as well. So in the Makerspace, we have actions. So, and to test this out, okay, we hired people. This is my first test case, my little lab rat. Yeah, I call him Golf, or his name is Golf. He's employee #1. And so it's not enough that we have to say, well, hey, be more creative. That doesn't really work. Or, oh, think outside the box. You can tell them that until, forever. They'll never get it. And really, what they need to figure out is how. And that's what's been missing this whole entire time. So I've been trying to figure out, okay, how do we do that? So I see someone like Golf. He went to a technical school, not an engineer. So he learns all this fabrication stuff, but if I didn't hire him, he'd probably be off in a factory somewhere in Chonburi, pushing a button all day, yeah, being like a robot. They don't want creativity. They want someone who just pushes a button all day. So I go, well, here's a guy. Maybe I can make something of him. So I take him out, I hire him, and then I start teaching him. So for example, okay, first I start him off with something that he knows. So he knows how to do the CNC machining. So okay, start with that. And then I go, well, start pushing his boundaries a little bit. So then, okay, how about you start doing some art? So he takes some old 100-year teak wood from a reclaimed house, puts it in the CNC machine, and he tries making art. Here's Ganesh, Papi Kaned in Thai. Yeah, the patron god of creativity. So, and then he starts making stuff like that. I go, okay, pretty good. So how about you start doing other creative things? So then he starts making, starts studying about furniture design. So he puts it in a CNC machine and produces that. And by the way, he screws up sometimes. Yeah, so there's the one that he screwed up on. It's like, that's okay. Give him a productive, positive environment. And then he starts designing his own furniture from there. So this is a rocking chair, and oh yeah, there's Ganesh up there on our wall. So now he starts doing stuff like that. In the makerspace, we also hold workshops. We had TCDC. They came into the makerspace. We held a workshop, but it's not just us teaching. We also get the people our staff to also teach. So here's Golf. He gained the skills about 3D printing. So here he is teaching them about 3D printing. So he gains mastery as well. And then 3D printers. And then he designed this. This is a table that he cut out on our laser cutter. Here's a model. And then from the model, he gets the participants to build in a small scale. And from there, he gets them to build in a big scale. This is a CNC machine cut desk that he designed. And the little girls, they're bashing away with a hammer to build it. So there we go. And from there, when I go, oh, okay, that's cool. And I leave him to his own devices. Now, at one point in time, this is the dovetail joint. Yeah, it's one of the best joints in woodworking. The thing is, in Thailand we have a lot of woodworking, but the thing is that you never see it. And why? It's because you usually have to buy this as a dovetail joint jig. It costs about 10,000 baht for $350 for you foreigners. And it's like, well, maybe that's why you never see Thais using it. It's too darn expensive. Well, Golf on his own volition, he's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to make something like that. So, okay, well, he has access to all these tools. So there you go. He goes in a CAD program. He just starts designing it out. And then he cuts it out on our laser cutter. And then he makes his first prototype. And he's like, okay, that's kind of cool. Then he makes the second prototype. And then he's like, okay, now I need additional parts. So he has access to 3D printing. So he goes, okay, well, how about I make some brackets? So he makes a bracket. And he tests it out. Does it go and melt? Is it going to work? And he's like, okay, I'm pretty cool with that. And then he makes the next one. Then he makes some additional parts. And then boom, he makes the dovetail joint jig. What costs 10,000 baht in the store, he made this at the makerspace for 150 baht. Using the tools in the makerspace. And I didn't tell him to do it. He just goes, one day he's like, I kind of want to make it. And he just goes for it. So for me, okay, I'm pretty happy about that. And it's not just Golf as well. The other people can see it as well. The thing about makerspaces is when you make physical things, people can see it, people can touch it, people can understand it. And it's very easy for other people to see how you did it. And it's very easy to share that knowledge with other people. So and then this whole entire thinking inside the box, how do you do it? Well, look, this is how you do it. And this is how you get rid of it. Yeah. So we also teach the little kids. Yeah. And then they become our members as well. And they make their things. That's a Pokemon helmet the kid really loved. This is Ong. He became our member sometime last year. And then the thing is, he loves textiles. So in Chiang Mai, we have a lot of textiles, but they usually make it like this on an old-style loom. The thing is literally back-breaking work. So he's like, well, I have an idea of how to make this better. So he comes into the makerspace, uses all our tools, and then he produces something like this. It's more modern. It's small. Yeah, people love it, and now people are asking to buy his loom. To me, that's amazing. Or this is A. He loves race car simulators. Sometime last year, he became our member, and then he learned how to use all the fabrication tools, and he started making prototypes. And he's like, well, Kuneti, how about you help me out? I kind of want to make a race car simulator. So, okay, I invested a little bit of money into him, and then we helped him out. So yeah, there we helped with the electronic components. So we tried to examine what needs to be done, and then we built it, and then we go, okay, got it to work, and then we taught him how to do it because he didn't know how to do electronics. So he never held a soldering iron in his life. So we taught him, and then he built it, and then this is his first initial prototype that he made. Yeah, so MVP, and then from the MVP, he's like, okay, that's pretty good. Hello. And then he iterates and iterates, and then we show it off to places like TEDx. And then now we're showing off here at GSVC. It's right outside. Yeah. And this is A. This is the first time he just finished this the night before TEDx, and he's like, okay, this is the first time he ever sat in it, and he drove it. Now, because of those efforts, people are lining up to buy it. He built this, prototyped all this for 25,000 baht. Usually these things cost 200,000 baht. So as you can imagine, there's a wide margin for him to play with. So, and more importantly, because of the makerspace and the ability for us to rapidly prototype, he's able to do all this from conception all the way to making this final product within 45 days. So that's A. And on top of that, now because he's doing stuff like that, well, okay, now people want to support him. People want to donate to him. Okay, I want to sponsor you with computer equipment, with monitors. Someone goes, here's the Oculus Rift. Please take it for free because what you guys are doing is so cool. And he's like, okay, awesome. So that's what he's doing. Yeah. And I guess time's up. Yeah. So I won't talk about this. This is how we solve clubfoot in the world. Yeah, and how we use the makerspace tools. One sec. And so we used 3D printing, and then we figured out thermoplastics, and then we designed it out, and we figured out the materials, use our tools, come up with several iterations, and then we made a device to solve clubfoot. It costs, let's see, what used to be a 45-minute process for the doctors, and it took a team of doctors. We got it down to 5 minutes. And it costs no more than a plaster cast. So that's what we also do as well. Yeah, and we also make money we also created an innovation platform and an innovation company located in the makerspace, and we created an innovation team. So that's how we are sustainable. So we teach people how to be creative. We give the knowledge and resources to enhance natural physical innovation. And more importantly, we are able to lift the entire countries out to become developed countries so that we're not waiting again for another 60 years. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you ค่ะ